In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use the contour toolpath to mill the stock off of one end so it's clean and it's square to the other sides. Okay, um, this is when we're doing some simple things at the control. Sometimes we make programs like this, but I figured it'd be nice to show you how to do it right here. It makes life a lot easier when we're using CAM. So all right, here we go. We've got a part here that's already been faced on one side to clean and faced to thickness. So I'm actually I'm going to do a separate setup. I'm going to do a new setup strictly for facing it on one end. All right, so this would be setup 3. I've got to change my orientation as we've worked on before in other videos. So I'm selecting this for the Z-axis, and the X and Y are good. For the stock, actually the stock box point, I'm going to change to model box points, and I'm going to select the upper right corner because I'm going to pick up off that corner, and that's what we'll use to do our cutting. Okay. Stock from previous is fine, and post process, I'm just going to put in my number, and I'm not even going to bother the comment. It's just really showing you how to use the contour to do this. So we're going to go over to this contour, 2D contour, or drop down the 2D menu list and find 2D contour. Click that. Right now we're showing this big face mill. That is not going to work for side cutting. As you know, we need to use an end mill. And this to me looks like a 1/2-inch end mill, which I already have in my tool list in my local library. I just got to go find it. 1/2-inch 2-flute end mill. Okay, we'll use that one. And it's already tool 1, so that's perfect. Select it. So now that all that information is in there for us, this is what we're using. If you don't know how to do that, to get that kind of a tool, if you don't have one, you need to make one. I'm making videos for creating all the different tool types, so you'll find that in my video list. So fear not, we will definitely have that for you as a separate item. Try to keep these things in little chunks. All right, the next tab after geometry is the geometry tab, and this is where I do our contour selection. It wants us to select some little edge. I want to go by the bottom edge over here, but if you notice, it picks up the entire bottom edge going around 4 sides. I just want this one, so I'm going to X out of that one. And if I hold down the Alt key and then I come over, I can just pick one edge. So that's just kind of a little trick, right? Hold down the Alt key, keep it there, then go over. You'll see that edge highlight and select it. Now you can see it's just one edge that we're contouring along. Okay, that's all we want to do. That'll face the end of this thing. The heights, definitely important to look at. Excuse me. In this instance, I see a lot kind of wrong here. It's just wasted time. All these different retract heights are very, very high. So let's start with the feed height. Where do we want to feed down from? All right. The top, that's the top height. It says stock top. Well, we got rid of all that excess stock before. So we want to switch from stock to model top. So from the model top is that's where we're feeding from. All right. We're talking about our depths. Our depths are taken from the model itself, not the stock that used to exist. All right, the feed height. Where do we feed down from? So that's basically where do you wrap it to? Well, we keep that usually at 0.1, don't we? So let's bring that down a little bit. See how it's a little bit closer. Now we have these retract heights and clearance heights. Excuse me. They're set way too high. I would like all of them to be the same height as this right here, the feed height. So I'm going to say for my retract, from my feed height, I'm going to go 0. So that will line it up perfectly with it. See how that's lined up together? They're on top of each other now. Now I want to bring this one down as well, that retract height. I want to go also from the feed height and 0. Okay, so that brings all that in line, and that means all of our rapids on the Z will be to 0.1 above the pi. Passes, for this one, I'm just going to leave it as is and do it in one pass. Sideways compensation should be set to left. Compensation type, we usually do with most of our end milling, we're going to let the control do that. That's going to put out a G41, and you're going to have to end up putting that 0.500 diameter into the control, or it won't work properly. So you got to remember to do that. Going back to heights, actually, we want to go, it says bottom height is from the selected contour, which was down here, right? I like to go a little bit below that so I know I definitely clean it up. So I'll go down like minus 50 thousandths. So we'll see when it simulates that the tip of the tool is going to drop down a little bit lower than the bottom surface. Multi-axis we don't worry about. Linking we don't worry about. We just want to see how this looks quick. All right, so click OK and see what happens. All right, so we've got some kind of funky lead-ins over here, but as long as it doesn't crash into the machine, what that's showing you is the cutter comp lead-in. So, okay, now what we'll do is we're going to go to the setup. Actually, I'm going to run the all setups so I can get rid of all my excess stock so I don't look like I'm crashing. So let's run this through. So we're seeing all the stock being removed on the faces first. And you can see down at the end, I'm going to slow this down for a minute. If you follow my cursor way down at the end here, this little area, that's where we're doing our milling cut, okay, the end mill cut. So when we get close to there, I'm going to slow it down again. Speed this up a little bit. Now I can see that getting close. I'm going to slow this down. I want to see that changeover. I'm going real slow now. I want to see this changeover happen. Tool change. Now, there's a lot of stock on here, so don't worry about that. This is just showing you what would happen if you just taken one skim cut off the end. And that looks like it's doing exactly what we want it to do. All right, so from here to here is all set. I'm going to exit that simulation. And that is how you do a simple contour cut just around the end of a piece.